Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Meshy. I thought this would be a really cute recipe to make for mom for Mother's Day. Obviously have a parent help you. If you do not have lemons or lemon juice or even blueberries, you can still make a pound cake kind of bread for mom. You just might have to change the ingredients a little bit. But here we go. I'm gonna show you how to make it and then you can try it on your own, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work with the wet ingredients. So we have 1/3 cup of melted butter. I'm gonna pour that in my bowl. Then we have a cup of sugar, just regular plain white sugar. I'm gonna pour that in with the butter. Then you wanna do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now, Mrs. Meshy has this really cool thing that you can juice a lemon. If you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. You just squeeze as much juice out of a lemon as you can get. And then if you don't have a lemon, just skip this part. So I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons. That was 2, can I get one more? Awesome, 3. Okay, and then I want to add my eggs. Now your eggs should be room temperature. I suggest you crack them before you put them in your bowl just to make sure you don't get any shells in there, because sometimes that happens to me and nobody wants to eat a crunchy eggshell. All right, I got my 2 eggs. I'm gonna pour them into my wet mixture. And now, if you have a mixer, fantastic. If you have a handheld one that looks like this, you can use this too. If you don't have a mixer, no big deal. You can use a spatula. It just might take you a little bit longer to mix it together. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. And hopefully I won't make a mess and splash it everywhere. Okay, here we go. So you want to mix it together until everything is combined really well. So that means you shouldn't be seeing pieces of sugar, pieces of your egg. All of that should be mixed together. I would say maybe 60 seconds. Okay. It should look like this mixed together. Now I want to take my dry and mix those together. So with my dry, I have 1.5 cups of flour. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just gonna use this to mix it up a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is add 1/2 of this flour mixture to my milky egg butter mixture. I'm just gonna do 1/2 though. And be careful when you turn your mixer back on, it might splash up at you. I'm sorry about that. So I'm gonna do it really slow again. I'm gonna add this in. Now while it's mixing, you also wanna have 1/2 cup of milk, and we're gonna add 1/2 of our milk mixture to our flour and egg mixture. Just 1/2. I'm gonna turn this off so I don't make a giant mess. So 1/2 of my milk. Okay, that's in there. Be careful when you turn it back on. You don't want it to splash on you. Oh man. Okay. You want to get that really incorporated. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the rest of my flour mixture to this guy. Dump it all in there. Oh yeah. Starting to get a little bit thick. Make sure you bump around the edges too. You want to get all that flour incorporated. Okay, while that guy's mixing, I'm going to add the last bit of my milk. Good job, Mrs. Meshy. She didn't make a mess. Make sure you get the sides. He looks pretty good. I'm going to slowly pull this up to get as much batter off as I can. Okay, I'm going to use a spatula really quick just to scrape the sides. I want to get it all incorporated. And it's this lovely color now. Okay, so our next step is to add a cup of blueberries. I have frozen blueberries, and what you want to do is add a little bit of flour to them. The flour will help them from sinking into the bottom of your pan. And then what happens is when you cut your bread, all your blueberries are in the bottom and they're not dispersed all over the place. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of flour in there, just a tiny bit. And I'm gonna use a spoon, mix it all around, make sure they're nice and coated. Ooh, they look good. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the blueberries to my mix. Try not to get any of that extra flour in there if you can. I know it might be a little bit hard at the bottom because the flour will sink. Oh, they're coming. Okay. And then using your spatula, just mix them around so they're nice and coated. Get them all mixed in there. Okay, our last step is we want to get a bread pan. So a bread pan looks like this. They're super fun, I love them. Sometimes I put stuffed shells on them, don't tell only. And you want to take your bread pan and you want to make sure it's greased. You can use cooking spray or you can use butter, it's up to you. I'm gonna see if my cooking spray will work for me. Oh, it did. So I'm just gonna spray the whole entire pan. This way it doesn't stick anywhere. All right, my pan is sprayed. Now I'm gonna dump the batter in. Hopefully you're paying attention and you don't get it on your counter. Try and get every last little bit in there. I'm gonna smooth it around, get all the corners. I'm gonna use my extra, make sure your hands are washed. And now I have my bread. This is gonna go in the oven for anywhere to 60 to 70 minutes for 350 degrees. When you're finished, you want it to cool for 10 minutes and then you can put a lemon glaze on it. The glaze is super easy to make. You just mix your lemon and your sugar, mix it together, and then you pour it right over top of your bread. Your mom is going to love this. Good luck, happy baking.